Hello again, everyone. We are Gaming by Gaslight, and welcome back to another episode of Curse of the Dead Gods. So, that was an interesting run last time. I'd say overall, my play was worse than average. At least that's the way I'm choosing to interpret things. But, interestingly enough, talking about stuff and not really focusing on the game itself kind of had a mellowing effect, where because I was focused more on talking than winning, I, in my own way, it may have made me play better. Better-ish. But, obviously that's going to require a little bit of testing, so I suppose perhaps what I should endeavor to do is, think of something that we can talk about, maybe something a bit less topical than last episode. I'm recording this more or less after the last episode, so I'm not really sure what the response is yet. I'll be honest with you. Whenever I let my self-censoring slip and maybe start going off onto a rant, I always am a little afraid, to be honest with you. I mean, I probably shouldn't, because, you know, as an old saying goes, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. There's other variants of that. But I think that gets the general point across, doesn't it? So, yeah, you know. I may be right about some things, I may be wrong about some things. All I know is that, yeah, stuff. But yeah, so I don't know, what else could I talk about? Something maybe a little potentially less, First, then again, did I really say anything now that I'm thinking? I'm trying to think back on that last episode. I mean, I was talking about some real-world issues and things, but did I really say anything controversial? I don't know. I mean, we live in a world where, you know, the truth itself is apparently subjective, and varies depending on who you ask, and, you know, we have facts and alternative facts, and the truth that isn't truth, and, you know, we've always been at war with East Asia, so. But then again, you know, is that really anything new to these days, or is it just that with the advent of the internet and social media, it's easier for misinformation to be broadcasted? I like to think that is the real truth of the matter. You know, things haven't really changed, people haven't really changed, just the tools by which, you know, the same old things, the old enemy, in this case being fear, the ultimate, perpetrator behind just about all, the evils of the world. You know, I mean, it's fear which, turns kind men cruel and peaceful men violent and all these other things. But, I mean, here I go again. I'm talking about the real world right off the bat. I don't know. But let's see here. I mean, I guess something perhaps a little more, or less, you know, potential, or with a little bit less potential to start any arguments about things, which there may or may not be, since, again, I haven't really seen how the last episode turned out yet. All I can say is, yeah, you know, maybe a little bit of lighter material. Well, this isn't a live stream, so I can't ask you live, but you can always tell me in the comments what you've been doing to keep yourselves busy in these, well, assuming you live in a area where, you know, your local officials have actually implemented lockdown-type orders to, you know, limit the spread of this whole pandemic thing. Or, you know, if you're whether or not there are such orders, if you're, you know, doing your part to help keep your community safe and secure in these trying times, then, you know, I mean, it's a perfect time, especially if you're, you know, unfortunately out of work or whatever, as a result of all that's going on, you know, maybe time to return to some old hobby or take up a new one, learn a new skill. Something well, I guess it's not really a new skill for me. I kind of like to tinker around with programming and game development in my spare time. My big problem is that I tend to, you know, I'll start a project and I'll, you know, work on like some feature or whatever, or, you know, maybe think, oh, I'm gonna make, you know, this or that or whatever. But then I'll be like, oh, hey, you know what, here's this cool idea for, you know, something else I could do. And, you know, then I'll go, you know, start that. And then, before you know it, I've got a million, different projects, in various states of, progress. And none of them are really finished. But at the same time, I mean, I also, because I'm aware of this issue of mine, I attempt to, you know, that's actually a pretty good weapon. I think I'm going to take that. I mean, it heals us every time we kill an enemy. It removes a little bit of corruption every time we kill an enemy. I think we can make that work in our favor. So, let's see. And a relic. Oh boy. I don't have nearly as much gold as I would like at this particular phase of the game. But I think... But actually, no. I mean, I only lost my combo, well, not even that long ago. Don't really know why I'm bothering to kill these things. Also, am I mistaken, or was there a time when those actually did provide the oh dear. I think I could have finished the ghost, but, you know, better to be safe than sorry on these matters. But anyway, yeah, getting back to, I guess, today's topic of conversation, how about I talk about, yeah, my, you know, random tinkerings in, yeah, game development. I mean, right now, I'm kind of, it's really silly, because it's something I'm sure I did, but I can't find the code for it, so, you know, me being a silly, clumsy, person, I probably accidentally deleted the file at some point. But, I'm working on making, like, a security camera type thing, because, you know, I kind of think a security camera type thing would look sort of cool. Well, specifically, you may recall, depending on how diligently you watch every single video I put out, about a year ago, more or less, I kind of experimented with some, like, non-game related content on the channel, specifically, there's some temptation here. I'm gonna pay for this in corruption, but anyway, I did some, you know, videos on, like, designing, like, a stealth-type game, and unfortunately, I made the capital mistake of thinking to myself, oh, you know what, these videos aren't doing very well, no one really wants to see them, this is like a gameplay channel, not a game development channel, and so I, you know, after only 2 episodes, I kind of dropped the whole idea. However, I've noticed that those videos have actually got a, well, in my opinion anyway, a surprising amount of attention, relatively speaking, in the time since. So I've actually been thinking, especially since I do kind of have a little bit more time to indulge in the hobby, I've been thinking about maybe, you know, starting that back up again. Maybe. As, you know, I mean, give me a chance to kind of share a little a passion, a interest of mine with the rest of the world. And you know what? The ever important thing, I guess, is I shouldn't make videos solely to get views. I mean, I try not to do that, though I do have a bit of a tendency of, if something I am trying on the channel doesn't seem to be getting much traction, I perhaps sometimes drop it sooner than I should. Because, you know, as I've seen many, many times in the past, sometimes I will cover a game on the channel, and it doesn't do very well initially, but later, you know, it ends up getting more attention. So the moral of that story is, I guess I should focus. I try to, but again, you know, it's always a work in progress because, you know, you get the emotional element in there. You're like, no one wants to watch the stuff I'm making. I'm just a one-trick pony who's only going to be, you know, known for like one type of video or what have you. And, you know, it's a process, I guess, perhaps is where I'm going with all this. It's a process. You gotta, you know, you do things, they either work or they don't, and ideally you learn from them, And most importantly, though, you gotta have fun with what you're doing. If you're not having fun, then what's the point, right? And in general, while I will sometimes stop a series or what have you on the channel prematurely because it doesn't seem to be, you know, garnering any attention at the time, I never really stick with a game once I am bored with it on the channel, because I feel that would be an even greater disservice to people who actually want to see said game. You know, like Starbound, for instance. That was a big thing on the channel a while ago. But I feel I more or less played that out as much as I could and still derive joy myself from it, so I don't really cover it on the channel so much anymore. And by so much, I mean half a year? When did the bounty hunting update in that game come out? I think it's been almost a year. So, yeah, you know. It's always a balancing game. You gotta figure out how to do things to, I guess, progress with your goals in life. Like, you know, for me as a YouTuber, I want my channel to do well. And part of that, of course, is, you know, trying to always build the audience and figure out, you know, what I should be doing next. You know, should I keep doing what I'm doing? Should I try something else? Should I whatever? And honestly, I could probably do considerably better with some of these kinds of things than I do, but again, you know, my focus is mostly just on having fun, and as long as I keep it that way, I think I can't do too much wrong. At least, you know, that's my perspective on things. Oh dear. You know what? I'm gonna maybe smash these heads a little bit. Not that they're of any real threat to me at this point, but just to be safe, just in case. These heads in the middle, not gonna worry so much about them. Oh dear. Yeah, you see, that was not terribly smart. You know, I'm just gonna set these off now. Okay, well, let's get rid of this guy first, because he's the big threat. Nope, nope. He's still alive? I could have always parried that, I guess, but oh well, I didn't feel like risking it. We've already lost our combo. We've got a fair amount of money. I mean, 40% additional damage just from... Hey, that is right, isn't it? Yeah. Or 4%. Yeah, 4 times 10 is 40. So, 40% more damage. Oop. Oop. And roll one more time just to make sure we're... Oh, thank God that worked. Alright. The times are good. Okay, an extra 30% damage to fire attacks. I mean, I like this, because I do have a tendency to take damage, but I think I would rather swap it out for even more damage to our fire-based attack. It's actually kind of funny in a way how effective this build has turned out. And the moral I get from this, before I, you know, I'm talking about the game itself and not about my my journeys in programming, but you know what? You gotta sometimes go with wherever the stream of consciousness takes you, and apparently that is into the game right now, and that the lesson is I should definitely be spending more money on... Is there actually anything I would like to replace? The answer is not really. The extra perception would be nice, but it's not good enough for me. But anyway, the point that I keep sidestepping around here is that I should totally buy stuff from stores more often, especially if it is clear that those things synergize together in a fashion that benefits me. There is temptation there. That is for enemy kill, not critical hit damage, right? Yes, okay. So, I'm going to leave that alone. This weapon also does more damage while we're in the light, doesn't? No? What did I see that did more in the light? Maybe there's a weapon that I passed up, because I feel like there was such a weapon there. But, I'm not seeing it, so maybe I am imagining things, or thinking of a different run entirely. That's also possible. Anyway, but yeah, getting back to the whole programming thing. You know, it's something I like to do, on the side. Maybe someday I'll actually finish a project and, you know, release a game. Like, probably a free game. I'm not thinking of becoming a professional game developer anytime soon. Though, admittingly, that would actually be pretty cool. But again, that's not something I intend to do anytime soon. Though, I think to myself that if I wanted to get into, like, the whole field of game development as, like, a potential career, I'd probably... I'm not... I think I'm a competent programmer, but my real talent, I think, and this could just be me tooting my own horn here, but I think I am better at, like, the large-scale problem-solving sort of aspect of things. Oh yeah, I don't need this. Why have I been holding on to that? Like, what I mean is, like, I think I'd be... My best attribute is, in, like, looking at the big picture of something, and then breaking it down into, like, its component pieces, and, like... I want to say more of, like, the theory side of things. Like, I feel that... Oh god, why, I'm stuck! I feel that, like, my best stuff tends to be, like, you know, I'm like, oh, hey, you know what, like, I want to do X. So what do I need in order to do X? And then I'll be like, okay, I need to do, like, Y, Z, beta, gamma, alpha, delta, kappa, whatever. You know, like, I break it down. And I'm not necessarily good at, like, writing out, oh god, the details, as it were, if you will. Like, the actual programming of the solution. But I think I'm generally pretty good at, like, figuring out what would be needed to get to the solution. Maybe I'm just being hard on myself with my programming. Because, you know, I can generally solve most problems that end up coming my way, so... Now here's a real tough question for us. Do we take the dexterity at the expense of something else? I mean, this is good and has been definitely getting us a lot of money, but we're going to double whatever we have at the end of this particular setup anyway, and that doubling will be sufficient to get us to the point where our current damage boosting relics hit their peaks. So my thought process here is that we ditch that that gold and yeah, get and yeah, just get the extra damage, because if we can kill enemies faster, they're less likely to hurt us. That's not really anything new. That's the strategy I always go with, and I'm sure most of you who have been watching this these playthroughs for a while probably already know by now, but you know what, I'd like to explain my thought process anyway, just in case. I mean, it's entirely possible that you know, you've not seen me talk about these things before, and also because I do like to repeat lessons so that I myself don't forget to follow them at some point. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying before, like, something I'm working on right now is just figuring out a kind of a nice way to make a security camera type thing, and specifically, like, to define its movement. Like, how does a security camera move? And the obvious, of course, like, this isn't even like a particularly tricky problem I'm talking about here, but those darn Quaternions. Anyway, like, the trick I'm trying to figure out now is just how to make it move in a way that like feels right. Because I've kind of, you know, I've read up on a couple of different things. I've tried coming up with some solutions of my own, and I haven't quite got something yet that feels just right, you know? Like, something where I'm watching the camera move, and its movements, like, strike me as, like, hey, that is what a security camera that you have to avoid in a stealth game would look like. And again, it's not something that I think... It's also probably one of those things, as is often the case I find with programming, is that you beat your head against a wall repeatedly trying to solve something, and then, you know, once you've solved it, or at some point while beating your head against the wall, suddenly the solution just comes to you and you're like, oh god, am I really that stupid that I didn't figure that out already? Oh dear, this is a an interesting room layout. Like, for instance, actually, just... oh god. No. I can't believe I let the combo die. But anyway, I was in the shower, and I was thinking to myself, hey, you know what? Back in, you know, your basic school days, you learned about sine waves. And I've seen, like, using sine waves before, but the movement didn't quite strike me as being right. But then I remembered, hey, wait a minute. And the problem was that I felt I didn't have control over, like, the speed of the rotation. But then I realized, wait a minute, in school you learned how to manipulate a sine wave so that it's, arc? Is that the word to use? It's the word I'm going to use, anyway. So that its arc is, wider, as it were. And with that in mind, I realized, hey, I just need to... holy crap, how did I do that? Oh god, oh god. Ah, damn it, you got stuck. Alright, get wrecked, Sonny Jib. You poor, poor fool. You don't realize how doomed you are. Okay. I might have been talking about myself there. The world may never know. Anyway. It's funny, really, how sometimes you learn something in school and you think to yourself, like with me, math was kind of like the big thing there, is I would often think to myself, oh, when am I ever going to need to use this in real life? And then, of course, you know, sometimes years later, you know, you come back and you suddenly realize, oh, yeah, this is where that stuff becomes useful. And, you know, one of those is, you know, I never thought to myself, oh, hey, when am I ever going to need to learn how to manipulate a sine wave in order to make it, you know, function in the fashion that I require to do something. In this case, you know, have the arc of a security camera rotating back and forth at a speed that, you know, feels right to me. Because just a regular sine wave kind of seems too fast. I'd rather have a wave where the camera moves slower, and also maybe once I, you know, manipulate the wave form a little bit, have it maybe pause at the end of each arc. And, yeah, then it turns out, hey, yeah, that's where that math comes useful. So, you know, for anyone watching along at home, and, you know, if you are thinking about getting into the sciences or programming or anything like that, you know what? I'll take it. I don't need the extra gold, but it doesn't hurt, so why not? I lose a little bit of damage, but frankly, I don't think 4% damage is gonna dramatically change the outcome of this. Alright, I may have gone a little too far there. Alright, yeah, you know. Basically, I guess the point I'm driving at here is, yeah. The stuff you learn in school may not seem important now, but, you may be surprised when it comes up again in actual everyday life. And like I said, math for me was always one of those things. I always thought to myself, oh, when am I ever going to need this or that or what have you? I mean, heck, even later in life, when, like, especially once I started, you know, dabbling in programming, and it became a lot more apparent. Words, as the day ends, get a lot harder to come out of my mouth, apparently. But anyway, even when I started programming and, you know, seeing a lot of the useful mathematical functions and formulas and tricks and stuff to do things, you know, I still sometimes had a bit of a... Why didn't I roll? I can't answer that question, I'm afraid. It was just raw arrogance and stupidity. But anyway, yeah, even then, sometimes I still find it hard. Math, it just doesn't come naturally to me. I am a wild, creative sort, and the, you know, requirements of logic and logic in math, they just... It's such a cop-out, though, isn't it? That's just basically... That's just shorthand for me saying that I'm too lazy to bother to learn a skill. You know? It's hard to admit, but you know what? I think I'm old enough now that I can, you know, maybe look back and say to myself, you know what? That's the truth of it, isn't it? It's not that, you know, I'm some creative person. It's just that I'm lazy and don't want to put the effort in. And, you know, once you come to accept that truth and hopefully start working towards overcoming it, you are set free. Or something. I don't really know. All I do know, if there's anything to be taken away from this long, meandering, pointless rambling that I am engaging in, is that you should never underestimate the value of knowledge. Because odds are, even if it doesn't seem important to you now, it may still end up being useful later. And that's a good thing. And I'll take that. I'm probably not going to pick up a dagger, but, you know, have +6 perception and then, you know, have it also do something else. That just seems smart to me. I think I accidentally killed something back there, and by something I mean the old Baron. He happened to pop up as I was attacking the Jaguar. That was a thing. And I guess, what else might, whatever lessons could there potentially be to learn from Gaming by Gaslight's late night ramble? Well, you should probably start what you finish. That's another thing. And, you know, frankly, actually, maybe I should start making, like, game development-y type videos again. Like, just, like, not just, like, just so that if it's out there in public, it makes it a lot harder to abandon and, you know, move on to, like, the next shiny thing that catches my attention. I don't even have, like, ADHD or anything like that, just so you know. This is just, like, me being, distracted by something new is literally just me being undisciplined. You know, I have no medical excuse, to justify it. It's totally laziness and incompetence on my part, and I have to own up to that, or else I'll never get better. And that's the whole point of life, is, well, There's a lot of points to life. I think the real point of life is that life is whatever the heck you want it to mean. And, you know, with that, the only thing to do is, for me, I guess, since I keep talking about it all the time, one of the important things in life for me is constantly trying to better oneself, to recognize one's mistakes, and, shoot. Also, how did I miss him doing other attacks? Because he literally seemed to just do the one heavy swing there. That's really throwing me off. Anyway. I mean, I guess this is our last chance. I mean, am I really going to pick anything else at this point? When these claws have done so much damage? I mean, the Titan Slayer is pretty good. Maybe I'll try to get a better Titan Slayer. I mean, I like spears. Spears are cool. I like this too. That's also pretty cool. I've also somehow managed to get 2 curse in all of this. So that's... Well, this is actually just a better version of the weapon I already have. So, deals critical damage while stamina is depleted. 10% damage if the secondary weapon is a pistol. I mean, I could just take that. I kind of want to... Oh, that's actually really good. 200 damage just on that right there. 10% if the main weapon is a claw. I mean, that's a good synergy right there. And if it does set him... And, well, heck. He sets himself... Well, no. The fire attack bit... You know what, I'm just going to take it so that I can move on with my life and then explain my logic here. The fire attack bit, I used to think that basically meant if the enemy was on fire, you did more damage, but I'm pretty sure that actually means, like, you know, these claws. They deal fire damage. So that's... I could go for a relic, but I'm going to do a Hail Mary play here and hope to get some more dexterity. Is it really a Hail Mary play, though, if we're, like, really, really powerful? The answer is probably not. So... I don't really know what it is I'm doing. I'm just doing it because it feels right. That's sometimes the thing to do. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will go back and try out making some more game development type videos. Or at least, you know, kind of follow my process for at least, like, tinkering with things. It's a multifaceted process for me, really. I like to start with the design phase, because like I said, I feel I'm better at, like, the big picture ideas guy kind of stuff than the actual, like, sitting down and figuring out the programming type stuff. But, when I do end up figuring out the programming type stuff, especially when I end up writing a program and solving a problem without referring to any kind of outside help or advice, which, I guess it happens more often than I might give myself credit for, but not as much as I would like in general. But then again, maybe that's also part of my problem. I think to myself, oh, hey, you know, if I don't, like, figure out how to write a game engine from scratch, you know, I have no business calling myself a programmer. But that's not really the point, is it? I mean, especially when you're trying to make a big project, which I'm not, because that would be stupid, at, you know, my level of expertise and just general competence. Oop. But yeah. But the idea... Ouch. You know what, let's pull out the old spear, or the old shield, and... I hate that you can't interrupt bosses. Like, that doesn't work. Which is kind of annoying. Like, I suppose there's an argument to be said, oh, hey, you know, if you could do that, then it would make it easy to just cheese the bosses, but it kind of also feels to me, you know, like, why have a mechanic if it's not going to work in the one place that you would really want it to work? I mean, I can still parry him, but then again, even parrying bosses doesn't quite Oh dear. Doesn't quite work the same way as, Oop. Oh, that was bad. But yeah, anyway. I don't know what I mean. Just, all I know is that one way or the other, this, little adventure of ours is coming to an end soon. Whether we win or lose. And I've had a good time here, and you know what? I'm gonna have to talk about stuff. Maybe I should discipline myself a bit more and, like, really focus on, like, one topic per video. We'll get there. Oh, it's we're almost there. You clever little sneak. Yeah, get wrecked, Sonny Jib. Yeah, get wrecked, Sonny Jib. And that's another episode of Curse the Dead Gods. Curse the Dead Gods. There's a hand there for some reason. That's kind of disturbing. But yeah, until the next time, as always. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like button, or maybe leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking, and I will see all you in the next video.